why Gen Z gave up on kids.
The family dream for decades around the world was going through life exactly like this. Going through elementary school to high school and having your typical good and bad experiences. Good experiences being meeting good friends you may have for life, and bad experiences being, I don't know, getting your head dunked and swirled in a toilet. I refuse to believe this has ever happened in real life. Like, I don't know where shows came up with this trope. Meeting your high school sweetheart and you both graduating. Going through college and having your wild phases. Then
Bro, the West has truly fallen. I feel like everything that I was told would happen in my life based on high school themed movies has not happened. And that might be a mix of me being a loser who makes YouTube videos, but I feel like overall it has to do with more widely our culture becoming a fraction of what it was. I feel like we live in hell. I feel like our culture has become a sewer, you know? I don't know. It's just like, maybe it was COVID too. I think COVID changed things for the worse in a way that we're never going to be able to truly quantify, because being inside for 2 years, more or less, is going to have irreversible damage to people's brains, you know? And especially when you're still developing and you're still expecting like a prom, a first kiss. How many kids do you think are going to be virgins forever who were not virgins if COVID didn't happen, you know? Imagine that. There's going to be some nerdy kid who would have gotten his first blowjob if COVID didn't happen, and now he didn't get it. So now he's like 23 and he's like, I thought this was, you know what I'm saying? He's lost. How do we save him? It's not okay, you know? It's not cool.
After graduating, having a couple more years before settling down, marrying, and having kids. Universally through the world, I feel like this is the typical path people see.
Dude, life fucking sucks. I'm gonna be honest. Like, not to be a nihilist, but I think if you look at the material conditions that we Americans have to live under, it's bad. All right, everything's chopped. Everything is expensive. Everything is, weird. You know, why are people so weird? You ever notice that? Like, the average person is a fucking weirdo. I literally light up with joy whenever I see, like, a reel on Instagram of an old person being a normal old person, you know? Holy shit. It's crazy. Sounds like a skill issue. You're a YouTuber, you're okay, man. I mean, like, yeah, I'm all right, I guess. Like, I'm making some money, but I feel like the world is crumbling, and I don't like to see it.
Of how it goes. And with Gen Z, it's becoming more and more common for people to not want this path. According to the stats, almost 1 in 3 Gen Z and millennials are saying they won't have kids at all. Not even talking about kids, most aren't even trying to get into a relationship.
All right, here's the tough part with that little statistic. Even though a lot of Gen Zers don't want to have kids, I struggle with whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing. And that sounds like, oh my God, obviously it's a bad thing. Listen to me. Most Gen Zers, I feel like, have some sort of mental, disability. And that sounds, again, like, what? What are you saying? Most Gen Zers? Listen, everybody's sad, everybody's anxious, everybody's depressed, everybody's on drugs, everybody is addicted to Instagram, gaming, or something else. But I have to tell you this, right? Knowing that when I look around, most of the Gen Z population are gonna be anywhere from somewhat fucked up to just retarded, I don't know if we want these people having kids, you know? I don't know. But yet again, kids obviously are a blessing, and the generation that we bring on deserves to exist, and just like how we were brought into this world, they do as well, even though they're not here yet. So I don't know. It's weird though, you know?
Most dudes are either chronic gooners and gave up on love after their middle school breakup.
Yeah, that's another one. Most girls are either
insane femcells on Twitter saying men should have to earn the right to have freedom.
Every guy should start in jail and have to work his way out.
You know, this hypothetical where they say every guy should have to start in jail and work their way out was originally made by people referring to blacks. They were saying black people should have to start in jail. So whenever they say this, you know, challenge them by saying every man should start to work his way in jail. Okay, even black guys? And they'll say everyone. Okay, well, what about specifically black guys? Yes. And then you just make them sound racist. You outwoke them.
Absolutely.
I
think
love that idea.
Because it's like you need to earn your place out here.
You do.
In my opinion.
You do, and it should be treated as if they're on probation for a while. Like, one strike, you're back.
Yeah, even when they're out. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
I think slave masters had that type of idea going on. At least they're being nicer, I guess. They're saying they'll free us. Anyways, I'm so glad of hearing the stats. It's not just me, and y'all are alone too. We are gonna be single the rest of our lives and have zero chance of a relationship.
Hey, easy.
On 3, Gen Z, who's with me? 1, 2, 3.
He really did want to flex his cut. Looks good though.
Nobody did. Yeah, so I thought it would be pretty interesting to talk about why it's become how it is for Gen.
Oh man, like, do I want to listen to these people talk, you know? Thank God he put these on mute. Gen Z's not having kids. Am I a narcissist for not wanting to have kids? Can all of you shut the fuck up, please? Let me speak. I'm the pro on this issue.
You know, people always talking about how
I'm the voice of this generation. Everyone take a fucking seat. Let me do this.
birth rates are dropping drastically. And if you think of it, it's kind of hard to find someone nowadays that has kids in their
Listen, the reason that the birth rate is dropping is because men have become socially inept and homes are unaffordable. We are retarded and we are broke. That's it. Okay? Remove those two things, we'll be good. Honestly, we can still be retarded as long as you don't just rape our wallets every month with taxes and subscriptions that we forgot we were even subscribed to, and the price of a fucking bacon, egg, and cheese in the morning. And, look, I don't like the fact that there are skins in video games that cost more than fucking groceries. And if I don't buy the skin, I'm a brokey. So, yeah.
Mid or late 20s. Like, out of all people I've met in my life, I genuinely only know 2 people in my life that are Gen Z and have kids. And this trend is exactly following how it was for millennials. Crazy to think how the older generations was just popping out kids as soon as they hit 18. Nowadays, if I see an 18-year-old saying they're gonna have a kid, all I'm thinking of is, man, his life is absolutely bro. This is the most obvious one, but one of the main reasons is the cost of living has been absolutely fried the past couple of years. I know. I talk about it a lot and all the time, but man, how can I not? I mean, literally no one even has an ounce of hope. If you
Literally, you are fucked. I'm letting you know this, and this is not nihilism, this is statistics and facts. You are fucked. So you have to run some sort of either scheme, you have to do OnlyFans, you have to pull money out of your fucking ass to make it work anymore, and I'm tired of it, you know? I'm lucky. I'm in a position where I get to talk in a microphone to an audience of unwashed pigs, and they decide to watch me, right, while they're rolling around in mud and shit, and I'm grateful for you pigs. I like when you oink in my comments, it's nice. But most people, they don't have that luxury. They have to go and get a job, and it's rough. It's terrible. I have friends who work, and dude, it's like it's really bad, because I remember there was a time where I had dinner with one of my friends, one of my normal friends, and you know, there was something where there was I think we got like some food or some shit. We got like a mozzarella stick basket. I said, hey, let's just split the check. Would you mind paying for the mozzarella sticks? I'll pay for both of our food. Can you just cover the mozzarella sticks? And he's like, oh, I kind of can't right now. I'm like, oh, he can't pay for the mozzarella sticks. Like that echoed in my head. He can't pay for the mozzarella sticks. Now, I'm not here calling my friend broke. I'm here calling the world in which a mozzarella stick purchase is something that can't be accomplished demented. I'm here to call that world unjust, unfair, and evil. Okay? That's my measurement for how fucked we are as a society. If a basket of by the way, they weren't that good, mozzarella sticks is gonna be something where you start breaking a fucking sweat when your homie asks if you can cover the cost of them, we have a problem. That's like a moment where if that happens to anyone you know, you have to call like an emergency meeting, slap that red button and say, hey guys, what is happening?
Ask Gen Z what their hope is for the future. All they're gonna think of is how the cost of living is absolutely cooked and it's only gonna get worse. AI and clankers are gonna take like 80% of the jobs we have. And the US is gonna go into civil war over these dumbass politicians. The cost of living would be one thing if it was just happening in 1 or 2 countries. But the fact that it's happening in multiple countries at the same time, man, just pass me the cigarette already. Us Americans always focus on our house price.
Is this real? No. No. I'm about to crash out. This gotta be fake, right? 12.395 a month? Nah, this is a joke, right?
Prices and how they are, which is true.
No, this is not fake. This is real. This is fake. No way.
But I feel a little more patriotic when I...
Is this real? 800 square feet! $2 million! Dude. No. Someone type this in, please. I cannot wait to say that's fake. Someone better say that's fake in my chat.
Always focus on our house prices and how they are, which is true. But I feel a little more patriotic when I look at ours compared to the UK and Canada. This is a 650,000 pound house or $879,000 house. 5 bedrooms and 1 bathroom is diabolical. I know the bathroom.
Real? It's real. Someone just checked that it's real. Dude, this guy's living in a cereal box. There's no way. You think that's fake? Yeah, I happen to think that the shoe box that's priced at $2 million might be fake.
Focus on our house price.
Holy shit, I'm gonna kill myself with a gun in the head.
UK and Canada. This is a 650,000 pound house or $879,000 house. 5 bedrooms and 1 bathroom is diabolical. I know the bathroom looks like Chernobyl every day. And in Canada, this is a $1.6 million house. No wonder Drake left out years ago. I wouldn't want to be there either. And even though
I love Drake.
I think money is obviously a factor to things like the house, I think there are people in Gen Z and millennials that can afford things like houses with a mortgage. But one of the main reasons they won't do it is because if they do get that typical family experience of getting a house on mortgage and having kids, they know they're gonna be stuck paying it for the next 30 years, probably barely scraping by.
Bro, did you know that over 70% of people who use credit cards don't pay the balance at the end of the month? 70%. Can you believe that? Bro, oh my god, no wonder they add all these points and shit. They're begging for you to use them because they know you'll not pay it back and then they can start accruing interest. Isn't it nuts that usury, literal usury, is like one of the most booming industries in America? Hey, I'm gonna make credit cards and make money off of interest. What is interest? What is the value to society I'm providing by implementing interest? Oh, nothing. I'm sucking people's life force from them and their wallets and their futures and their hopes and dreams. But you can get the Sapphire card.
And in the act of doing that, the kids are gonna get neglected in some way. I know with my experience growing up in that typical type of suburb area, all of the kids' parents in the neighborhood, including mine, were barely home. We would be out when kids actually went outside late, and it would be 9 and some of them were still not back. Because on top of balancing the bills they had to pay, they also had to balance their kids' expenses as well, which ended up affecting younger generations' mental health.
What is this? Mental health? Oh. 43% of ages 18 to 34 are concerned about their mental health. Oh, man. You know what's crazy about this, too? This generation, everything else on the screen, right? Look how much little these are. Also worth noting, everyone else here who's not concerned about their mental health are all alcoholic generations. Gen Z is the least alcoholic out of all the gens. These are the most, and yet they're the least concerned about their mental health. Ain't that crazy? Isn't that nuts? Like, I feel like something is weird about that when they say that alcoholism can lead to depression and yet the generation that drinks the least is like the most depressed. That might tell you that alcohol was never the biggest problem, right? It was always had to do with social media and isolation and body dysmorphia, you know, and cultural shifts.
And is a part of why it's
That's what I think it is, truly.
Problem now. With younger generations nowadays, we don't want to put that same type of burden on our kids. Every generation tries to improve how they were parented and change it. And I don't know about y'all, but I actually want to be able to do things with my kids. Go to Disneyland and all the fun vacation places. But if I gotta sit there balancing in this economy a $500K mortgage of a home that's the equivalent size of a shack, as well as taking care of my kids' expenses, I know it would be too much for me. Which is why a lot of Gen Z is even letting go of the thought of having kids. Why would you want to bring kids into a scenario where it's potentially gonna be chaotic? There's all different types of wars going on. You don't know what's gonna happen economically in the next years. It's also the reason why the age of having kids has been being pushed up a lot. There's a lot of women now who are having kids in their mid-30s to early 40s, which happened less in the past because it was kind of shamed by society. The shaming has gotten better in a lot of countries, but there is those places where it's still.
Check this out, by the way. Take a look at this. Actually, this is in 2002, so it might be outdated, but this is still worth looking at. Actually, maybe this graph is a bit better. Sure, let's take a look at both of these. Fuck it. So I got 2 little graphs to show you. This is 2002, and this is more recent. So you can see, dude, look how much this has gone up, right? And look how much this has gone down. Since the 60s to 2010, the husband only working has decreased about, what is this, 10, 15, 18%, 17%, and this has gone up, I'm so bad at math, 19%. So we have most of the households now are where there's 2 incomes, dual income. I don't like that, to be honest with you. You know, I think that if men can just work and the wife can stay home and enjoy the fruits of my labor, that's a win. I also truly don't believe that this is like a good thing. You know, people think this is like progress, more women in the workforce. Fuck no, absolutely not. This shit sucks, dude. You like working, you like when you and your husband have to both go to work and then cheat on each other with your fucking workplace boyfriends and girlfriends. You think that's fun? You think that's good for your relationship? Dude, and then this is from 2002, so this has definitely gone up since then. But it's like over 50%, dude. What the fuck is going on? Yeah, no movies. I'm in the trenches. I'm locked in. I'm getting rich. This shit sucks, dude. I don't know. I don't know how anyone can truly enjoy this, to be honest.
like a very bad thing to do. I found
Especially if I have kids. Listen, hot take. Also, I don't give a fuck if you're mad. Dude, if my wife is going to work and I gotta hire a fucking nanny to raise my kids, and my wife sees my kids less than the babysitter, we have a big problem, okay? The entire purpose of having a family is that it's raised by your parents. The kid is raised by the people who made it, you know? Not some random Filipino lady, respectfully. Obviously, hey, after school, if we're busy, or if, you know, wifey wants to go drink some wine, that's fine, you know. Nanny, she comes in clutch. But this is, listen, if it's not a Filipino lady, it's an iPad. And both are not ideal. We have to get the wives watching over the kids. We got to get the husbands making some more money so that the wife can watch over the kids. It's very simple, very basic stuff, but it needs to just get back into what we're doing.
that's so weird. Like, I would never sit there and judge someone for having kids later in life. It's one thing if you're bringing up potential fertility concerns, but a doctor would tell you if you're fine or not before anyways. If I did want kids also and wanted to pay for a house, I'd probably wait until at least 70% of it's paid off. Which older generations did not do. They kind of just hopped into a house and popped
Best show ever made.
out some kids. Then hoped and prayed they could pay off the house eventually.
That's true.
Another thing is younger generations are valuing their freedom way more than other generations in the past. You'll see a typical boomer be like, when I was your age, I already had 5 kids with another one coming. What's the holdup?
All right, hot take again. Sacrificing freedom for children is not actually what happens most of the time. People think that the moment you have kids, your life becomes this thing where you're only allowed to do certain things. You can't have fun anymore. Not true at all. That's totally a myth. And I think people who are perpetrating that are just scared for their selves. They are just very scared that when they have kids, whatever they're doing, they're not going to get to do anymore. Which most of the time they can, you know?
Son. Yeah, the holdup is we actually want free time in
Like,
our life and not have-
I don't believe in this. I just truly do not think that having kids takes your life from this, like, 10 out of 10 exciting experience to this, like, 2 out of 10 boring experience. No.
our life dedicated to kids fully. Society back then was literally just shaped on you gotta have kids or else.
Like, oh, if I have a kid, I can't play video games all day. Play video games with your kid! Teach your kid to whoop your ass in Super Smash Bros. Okay? Holy crap. It's really not hard. You don't want to build Hot Wheels with your son? You don't want to build Barbie house with your daughter? That sounds fun. You know what I'm saying? Oh my, like, what do you... I truly don't know what it is that some people are so afraid of giving up if they're not going to have kids. Like, is it, like, just drug use? Okay, that one might not be the easiest, but you could probably sneak in a few drugs every now and then, you know?
you won't reach your full happiness. And kids are amazing things in life. I think I gotta say that anyways because I am the child of my parents. Some people get surprised though when I tell them I'm not even thinking of having kids in my 20s and I'm probably gonna do it mid to late 30s. It should have never been a thing in the past where people found you weird or strange if you didn't have any. Never in my life when I was younger and I saw a family member who didn't have kids did I think they were strange. And now that I'm grown, I find it even more weird when a grown-ass adult thinks that. Social media was the true changer of how Gen Z and millennials approach the way they wanted kids.
Well, it just depends on what the reason is. It really does. I think if you have a good reason, then it's fine. But I truly think if you have no reason to not have kids, like you just don't want to for no reason, like you can't explain past that, I think that's worthy of an eyebrow raise. That's my opinion. I think that it should be the default to have kids, not the default to not have kids. You know, reproduction, generally something that should be encouraged.
Before social media, people still went on vacations and traveled the world, but it's given us a brand new light on things you didn't even know existed in your own
I'm too broke, that's the reason. That's a great reason. That's an amazing reason. That's actually the best reason.
city. Like, you could go on TikTok and find some miscellaneous random fun thing in your city you never heard of before to do. I wouldn't know about a bunch of the little fun things that were going on in my city without the internet. And now because Gen Z and millennials aren't having enough kids and birth rates are plummeting, all the governments around the world are panicking what to do now. You got
Dude, I think that there will come a point, like if I have a kid, I can't wait to chop it up with my kid's friends. You know, my little son, whatever, Johnny, Billy, Bobby, whoever, he's got a friend, and I get some beers with the boys, because they got sons now, and our sons are kicking it. Dude, that'll be so fun. That's just sounds fun.
Countries like Japan and South Korea pouring billions into fixing it only to have it get worse. Trump signed a law giving every baby born in America an $1,000 investment account. You know,
What?
I'll give the guy that one.
Is that true? He did that?
But is that money gonna even be worth anything in like 18 years? If inflation keeps up, we're gonna be paying $200 for a Big Mac at McDonald's. But that's if we don't have a civil war with the clankers by then. No matter how much money the government gives to help with child costs, I think the lifestyle trend is stronger than that and it won't just fizzle out. Unless the government government starts paying for like 70 to 80% of people's child expenses. It's now embedded in our society with younger generations where people are simply valuing their freedom more. You can see
The only problem I really have with kids is that they're so fucking ugly. Dude, I want to just beat up kids. I'm not gonna lie to you. Some of the times I see children, like, bro, something is just, it's like, why is your face not finished, you know? Can your face hurry up and become a full face? It's like, dude, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? I hate that shit. Listen, I love kids, but, oh, they're just like, you know, when they scream and shit, and then they have like, you know, it's like, oh my God, shut up. Yeah, I don't understand pedophiles. Dude, I can't imagine being a pedophile, because it's like, dude, they annoy the shit out of me. Imagine hearing like, wah, wah, and you're like, ooh, yo, both of you need to go. You, the baby, shut up. You, the pedophile, you need to be shot, okay? Holy shit, it's crazy. Some annoying ass kid, like, bro, you're a pedophile? What are you even chopping it up with the kids? Like, let's say you're a pedophile. You're like, hey, kid. Like, what are you're gonna talk about candy all day? You know, ugh, man, Jesus. You're talking about homework? Oh, homework sucks. Dude, you're 30. Okay, let's act our age here. You should say taxes suck. Watch how the kid responds. He won't get what you're saying because you're not supposed to be there. Listen, no, but kids, listen, they're great, but dude, some of them need to shut up, you know? Every time I'm terrified of flying. It's one of my worst fears. Dude, I think part of the fear of flying is the fear that I'm gonna be in the air, the plane's gonna be shaking, I'm gonna feel like death is imminent, and my last sound that I'm gonna process is, Mommy, shut up! Holy shit, shut up! We're dying here, okay? We're about to nosedive into a mountain. Please, quiet. Holy fuck.
Even in places where the cost of living is decent to good, they have less kids because to people it's no longer their
Sorry, real quick, I was just thinking about it. If there was a plane crash, do they make like baby-sized parachutes? No, right? Like they're done?
front goal in life. Even in countries right now where the birth rate may be booming, like for a lot of the African countries, they're getting developed really fast, and as soon as it's developed to the point where people don't really feel a need as much, it's gonna drop. Crazy though how the governments only now care when people have been telling them for years they can't afford things. A lot of people say the only reason why
the government still doesn't care. What are you talking about?
Even cares that the birth rate is declining is because they'll have less workers, and with less workers, they get paid less and make less money. But when you ask them to put some things in law to help us, they go, all right, I hear you. So you know what? 50
Is he about to say 50 billion in Israel?
trillion dollars to Israel. The hilarious thing is here in older
classic.
generations
That's a
talk
classic.
about how we don't work enough and we're lazy. Most of y'all already know it took them half the time to be able to afford a house working a job like us. But what's really crazy and what they don't want to acknowledge is how insane the billionaires were taxed back then. From 1940 in America to 1960, the highest income tax rate was 90%.
All right, that's just not good though. Listen, here's my rebuttal, okay? Billionaires getting taxed more. Maybe it helps people, maybe it doesn't. I do truly believe that the root of it, like I said, is money that people need, and it's just socialization. I feel like we're a bunch of antisocial Gen Z weirdos, okay?
No wonder it only took them 2 years to get a house. Y'all was basically getting them handed to you. Most of the ultra wealthy.
Like, bro, I think remove gooning from society, remove wokeness, and remove I would say encouragement for bad behavior, you have a flourishing society. That's not gonna be possible though. Gooning is too profitable for the people who make the shit. Wokeness is again too profitable for the people that propagate the ideas, and they get paid for it via ESG score. Listen, I don't know. I do think that listen, it got better. I think before Trump got elected, the social climate was fun for a bit. Like you had people saying faggot and retarded, which was fun. But that only, like, does that actually increase the amount of kids that are being made? Probably not. So
people back then didn't pay that full percentage, but they still paid a lot more than what happens today. Today, the richest out there, you know, got like 500 different loopholes where they can pay $0 in taxes. I promise you, if they change the laws to be like this again, you would see the birth rate at least double. Another thing that plays a factor into it is that younger generations aren't as pressured as much into having kids. Yeah, it still happens, but the way they did it back then, it was like you were disrespecting the family if you chose not to have kids. So because of my decision in life that I personally made, you're now mad? I never—
Hold on a second. I got something to show you guys. You guys are gonna love this. It's actually on topic. Hold on. Because we're talking about the economy and stuff, right? And how the economy makes it hard for people to make kids. Look at this. When I got a crisp 20 in my pocket and Shorty started ordering appetizers, and then it's just a red alert. Dude, this is how it goes now, okay? The moment you take a girl out and she's like, I'll take the mozzarella sticks, I'll take the egg roll. You're like, whoa, we're doing egg rolls. Whoa, I thought we were doing the bread because that's free. I love, this is the best meme ever made. Look at him. He's like, fuck. He's like, we are fucked. Apps? Fuck.
Welcome back.
Oh shit, wrong video.
Understood this for real. Why don't you go have another kid or something? For now, they're staying in the sack. You still got content creators like it's the 70s blaming people for not choosing to have kids.
If you're not having kids, you're selfish. You should be having kids, sharing your knowledge, your resources, everything you have.
What on earth is this shirt? Brother, what am I looking at? Is this esports?
Have to give with the next generation. Kids are literally the best thing that is going to happen to you. You should start earlier than you think that you are ready. Having kids will actually make you ready because...
Okay, so that argument I do kind of believe is true to some extent. Like, I think people, they think they're not ready for kids, right? But when you have them, you become ready. I think that that's true, right? At the same time, a lot of people aren't ready for kids. Does that make sense? I said one thing and then I said the thing that contradicts them and I said it both make sense, but it actually does, okay? You cannot be ready for kids, but if you have a kid, you'll find a way to be ready for it. I don't know. That's the way I see it. I truly don't believe it's rocket science.
When you have that forcing function in your life of kids,
yeah.
it takes for these little human beings.
That's what I'm saying. I agree with that. Like, I think that's true. I think once you have the kid, you will find a way to make it work. Like, that's what I believe, right? But some people, they just don't want to have that pressure. I think it's similar to how if you are going to get kicked out if you don't make the rent and you're like $100 short, you'll find a way to get the $100. It's like the urgency principle. Like, that's kind of what I think how it works.
Forcing function in your life of kids, you will do whatever it takes for these little human beings.
People that don't want to have kids are selfish. Point blank. That's the only reason you don't want to have kids, right? But here's the thing. It's okay to be selfish, right?
These people have completely lost what the definition of selfish is. Just searching up the Google definition, it says lacking consideration for others, concerned chiefly with one's own personal profit or pleasure. So how the f can you be selfish for something that doesn't even exist right now? That's like...
Well, that's a simple answer. It's because the reason you don't want it to exist is so that you can maintain your own well-being and happiness. So you're prioritizing yourself, right? It's self-interested, which is, like he said, fine. I mean, I agree with that video.
Personal profit or pleasure. So how the f can you be selfish for something that doesn't even exist right now? That's like someone saying I'm selfish for not donating the money right now that I may be making in the future. Like,
what are you...
right now. That's like someone saying I'm selfish for not donating the money right now that I may be making in the future. Like,
not donating the money that I might make in the future. I don't think it's the same thing, but I would say that regardless... Okay, I think selfish, the problem is that that word makes people upset, right? So, I wouldn't say that, but, you know, maybe self-interested is better.
I'm still homeless. I haven't made the money yet. To me, it would be way more selfish to have a kid I know I'm not gonna fully be there for and put them through problems, instead of just not having the kid at all. With people that say this that want everyone to reproduce in the world, are you gonna be taking care of their kids if they're not up to the task?
Yeah, listen, obviously, no one... I think the guilting, especially for people with valid excuses for why they don't want to have kids, is ridiculous. I think that's the main issue, right? When you're saying that you're selfish if you don't have kids, I think the issue is that you've now referenced every single person who doesn't have kids, and you've given them all a condemnation, whether you know their reasoning or not. You know, it's got to be case by case.
Because if you're not...
Like, when I see some fucking loser who's like millions of dollars and he just like doesn't do anything, he has a wife or a girlfriend, and they just don't want to do anything, they just want to go and travel, go on boats and drink and party and do drugs, that's, I think, selfish, because you have the resources to have a kid, you have the wife, you have money, you could take care of it whether you'd like it or not. I think that, you know, I would be like, what the fuck are you doing at that point?
Then shut the f up. Literally everyone in the world can't reproduce because we would be way too overpopulated. And the last thing that changed younger generations is the amount of communities we have. Back then, you had your typical family community and neighborhood with you, but it still didn't feel like enough. You felt like you needed that extra push. With us and social media, there is unlimited community.
Unless you're chopped or broke, no excuses. I think if you're younger as well, that makes sense. But yeah, if you're attractive and you got money and you got a girlfriend, girlfriend, it's time to make a kid, my boy.
Communities out there you could be a part of. You can have a community so niche it only has 1,000 people a part of it. For us now, since we're so used to the internet, that's absolutely nothing in the size of a community. When you physically think of it though, that's like 10 times bigger than the typical neighborhood community. So now imagine 1 million or 10 million and you could be a part of multiple of those communities at a time. It's almost impossible to not find a community you could fit in with online. Anyways, that's gonna be it though. Let me know your reproduction plans, guys, or if you have kids.
My reproduction plans. What about you? My plan? Listen, I'm 21 years old and I also don't have money. So, yeah. I mean, I got some money, but I definitely don't have enough for a kid. I honestly think, like, if I want to have a kid, I want to spoil the fuck out of that kid. I want to have a giant house worth probably under 5 million, but above 3 million. I'm not there yet, you know?
Is now. Make sure your kids watch Tom Energy for educational content.
Alright, that's cool, bro. So, yeah, I mean, listen, I gotta get rich and then I'll have a kid. That's really it. You know, find the one and it'll all be good.